In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how we can patch and configure relay channels on the console. There's a couple of reasons why you might want to use relays. First of those is you might actually want to be powering your rig from relays. Your LEDs and moving lights might actually be plugged into relay cabinets, and so you might want to be able to switch those relay channels remotely from the console. Or equally, another application might be you might actually have devices on stage that you need to turn on and off. And again, you could use relays for that. So there's kind of two use cases for relays. So let's talk about how we can configure those. Because we're talking about configuring addresses, all of that is done within patch. So we can go ahead into our patch window. And from in patch, what we're going to do first of all is talk about how we can patch a relay just like a normal fixture. So in our patching video, we spoke about how we could find a fixture in the library and assign it to a fixture number or channel number. And then we spoke about how we can then, of course, output and start to control that. So it's no different when it comes to relays. In our fixtures, you can see here I've got relay selected, and that's because under generics, I've gone and chosen relay. You can equally, of course, just simply go in and search for relay and select it, and you will be able to find that there. Once you've got a relay selected, you can then type into your command line just like the normal patching process. So if I've got one relay channel that I want to patch and I want to be able to control it with fixture number 100 on the console, I'm going to go and say that I want 100 at, and then I need to type in the DMX address of my relay. And let's say in this example, I've actually got it right at the end of my universe on DMX address 512. So I'm going to go and say 100 at 512 and hit enter. Now, relay channels automatically patch themselves as inverted. A relay patches as inverted. So what that means is that it is actually on by default. If I go to options and I'm going to go and actually open a new window, and let's go and open the DMX window. If I scroll down, you can see here, as soon as I've patched it, DMX address 512 has come on to full, value of 255. That's because it is indeed inverted by default. So relay channels be on by default. But if I were to then go to live, I'm going to go and say, yes, I do indeed want to save those changes. I could go and actually control my relay, and I could go and turn it on. So I could go and say fixture 100 at 100 enter. Because it's inverted, I'm going to go and open my DMX view down here. Because it's inverted, setting that to full actually turns it off. So by default, relays are inverted. Now you might not want that. So what we can do is we can go to patch, and what we can actually go and do here is change the behaviour of that particular relay profile. So at the moment, the relay is set to linear. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to go edit dimmer profiles, and right the way down the bottom here, address 512, I'm going to click on it and actually set it back to linear, back to the default behaviour. And I'm then going to go ahead and close that. And now I've assigned that, let's go back to live. Now I've got my relay channel and it is no longer inverted. So my relay parameter there is now not an inverted parameter. So that's how we might want to assign relays as fixtures, useful for if you're controlling them in the show. But we might not want to have control of our relays. If we are indeed powering our rig from these relays and we're controlling these relays from our console, we might not want to have control of that. We might want to actually just lock the relays in their values kind of out the way and forget about them. So to do that, I'm going to go to patch. And for this process, I'm going to first of all delete our fixture 100. So I'm going to go and say 100 at enter to to get rid of fixture 100, and I'm going to go and say 1 enter to take us back to the top of the list. Fixtures 31 through 40, those are my moving lights, and yes, they are plugged into my relay. So I'm actually going to go into the dedicated relay field. Within the relay field, you can type in a DMX address. So in this case, I'm going to go and actually say that these are from DMX addresses 501 onwards. Pop that in there, and that has assigned my relay channel. I can see in my DMX outputs view here, it is automatically assigned it relay, and yet again, as we've said, relays default to inverted. So I can see here that by typing that in, 501 has been inverted, and that does mean if I go and open my DMX view again, 501 is now at full by default. So that means as soon as the console is powered, that relay will turn on. And so that is really useful because it means you don't have to worry about doing the separate process of turning the relays on. As soon as the console is outputting data, the relays will be turned on. Now, it's very common for you to have multiple fixtures that are plugged into the same relay channel. You might have a handful of low power LED bars. Well, they can all go into the same power circuit. So in my case here, just like we did in the fixture table options video, I'm going to hold shift, use my arrow keys here, and I can arrow down. So I can hold shift, arrow down, and I can assign that relay information to multiple channels at once. So all of these fixtures are all being powered by 501. And then maybe my next 5 fixtures are being powered from relay 502. So I've just got 2 relay channels. First one is doing my first half of these movers. My second relay channel is doing the second half of those movers. So those are the 2 approaches. You've got the option where you can patch a relay so you can control it, and you've got this option here where you can assign relay channels so that the fixtures come on as soon as your console is powered and you don't need to worry about it.